How's it going, everybody? TVT Wrestling once again. We're going to be doing reviews of shows. We're going to do day after reviews just because it gives me time to actually watch the show. Sometimes I don't always get to watch it live. So I just want to do it day after. Only show I'm not going to be able to do this week, the day after, is going to be SmackDown. Going to be out of town for the weekend. So just want to make sure that's known. But AEW, WWE, we're going to do a bunch of review shows going forward. And I thought this episode of Raw was a lot of fun. Big storyline coming in was the Women's World Championship Steel Cage match. Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch. Speculation about her contract expiring. Fightful is reporting that it's going to expire sometime this week. But overall, I thought it was a fun show. So the show kicked off with Gunther making his first appearance as King of the Ring. He mentioned that he's going to bring prestige to King of the Ring like he did the Intercontinental Championship, like he's going to do for the World Heavyweight Championship as he gets the number one contenders match, or he is a number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. Then we get Damian Priest coming out. Gunther knocks him for taking shortcuts to become the champion. Damian Priest says, hey, I was Money in the Bank champion. That's kind of what happens. Drew McIntyre comes out as he is the number one contender for the title at whichever show it is. Clash of the Castle, I believe it is. Never know the name of some of these shows. But he is in 2 weeks' time, so it's going to be very soon in Glasgow. Didn't really like this whole talking segment. Kind of weird with three heels kind of talking out. But Braun Strowman interrupts. He comes out, and they clear the ring because they're going to have Braun Strowman versus JD McDonough. This match was decent. Carlito and Finn Balor try to help out JD, but it does not work. End up with a chair getting hit into Braun Strowman. Match wasn't really great, but it was fun for what it was. This also created a thread throughout the night of Braun Strowman chasing JD McDonough. Liv Morgan interviewed backstage afterwards about her upcoming steel cage match with Becky Lynch. She says that because of Dominic Mysterio, Becky can still claim that Liv has not beaten her one-on-one, but that's going to change tonight. We'll talk about that match later on, but I thought it was a fun thing going forward throughout the night, and I was really excited for that match. Vignette shows Braun Breaker attacking Ricochet last week. Shows earlier in the day that Ricochet was cleared for action. He says to Adam Pearce that he wants Braun, but Pearce says that Braun is suspended. He's not here. But they have a challenger as former NXT champion Ilya Dragunov comes in. He says, hey, basically, let's run it back. And they end up running it back. Match was really fun. I really liked this match. Ended up with Ricochet and Ilya Dragunov ending in a double disqualification as Braun Breaker out of nowhere comes in and spears Ricochet. Ends up then spearing Ilya Dragunov. He's escorted out by Adam Pearce, who's pissed off at him. I really like this. We have a very good mid-card division right now in Raw that we can elevate people to the main event scene. But Ilya Dragunov, Gunther, Ricochet, who I think is a very underrated talent, Braun Breaker. There's a lot of big names that we can have on the Raw side challenging for that Intercontinental Championship. Not to mention guys like Sami Zayn, who's already the champion, with Chad Gable, Otis. I think there's a lot of names who could even be floated around. Sheamus. I think there's a lot of people who can be interchanged in that title program. They try to get an update on Adam Pearce, but Kiana James ends up talking to him, excuse me. Not really into anything there. Then we get a segment with R-Truth and Miz handing out ice cream earlier in the day. They're approached by the New Day, who ask if they're still doing a Memorial Day raffle for a tag team title match. Karrion Kross confronts Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston, basically saying, when is Xavier Woods going to be that breakout guy? when he's going to step away from the New Day, step away from Kofi. Kofi is this old guy who's already been at the top. When is Xavier going to hit that? And I think that's a pretty fun idea of just, hey, can Karrion Kross get Xavier Woods to basically join the dark side, leave the New Day? New Day then challenge AOP next week. But this week you get the Authors of Pain defeating the Creed brothers. It was basically a little bit of a squash match. Don't really like that. I think the Creed brothers should be built up as a legitimate tag team on the Monday Night Raw brand. I think we could have some pretty good tag team stuff going on throughout Monday Night Raw. But I do like Authors of Pain getting a win, getting a convincing win. I just don't like the Creed brothers being the brunt of that very quick loss. We get a Rey Mysterio promo on Carlito as they're going to have a match later on in the show. And then we get Sheamus coming out and revealing that Ludwig Kaiser has sidelined him, and that's why he was not at King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. Kaiser pops up on the Titantron, and he taunts Sheamus before Sheamus heads to the back, trying to find him. They brawl, end up being separated by Adam Pearce. A lot of brawling on this show. Seems like Adam Pearce does not have a control of the whole show. Going to be interesting if they try to tell that story and make that more of a focal point. I know commentary mentioned that as well. Becky Lynch tells Lyra Valkyria backstage that sometimes you need to know when to walk away. Hint, hint on what's happening later on in the show. Lyra Valkyria defeats Kairi Sane. This match was fun. I liked it. Kairi Sane got a lot of offense in. But Lyra ends up winning the match. We see backstage later on that Io Sky is not happy with it. She starts destroying stuff in the locker room, walks out of the Damage Control locker room. And that's going to be interesting to see where this whole Damage Control thing goes, if they're going to break up, because it kind of feels like their time together is kind of fading away. I think that unless they're going to challenge for the tag team titles, that there's really no use for them together. I could still see Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane tag team. I just don't think we need the Kabuki Warriors as a team. We see Damian Priest asking JD McDonough and Finn Balor what's going on with the Judgment Day right now in their clubhouse. He confronts JD about speaking with Liv Morgan earlier in the night. We see that in the backstage thing in the back. Dominic Mysterio then enters, and Priest confronts him about what he's doing and the whole Women's World Championship being with Liv Morgan right now. Mysterio says that he promised Rhea Ripley that he would be making things right tonight. And again, that's another thread that just plays on throughout the night. We also see Braun Strowman just continuously chasing Jaden McDonough throughout the night in different segments. And I think that's a really fun thing to have going on throughout the show, kind of keeping the Judgment Day as a focal point. Rey Mysterio defeats Carlito. I'm not really into the whole Carlito stuff, if I'm being completely honest. And I think that Rey Mysterio is fine. I just think LWL kind of getting old with me. One thing that's not getting old, Judgment Day beat down Rey Mysterio after the match. Priest is not happy that he has to be the one to really control what's going on here. But one thing I do love is this Chad Gable Alpha Academy story. He tells Otis backstage that he's giving him a chance to redeem himself from King of the Ring by giving him a match with Big Bronson Reed. Only problem is Bronson Reed wins. Otis kept going for the Caterpillar, but Chad Gable kept stopping him. That was the big story going on throughout the match, leading to Otis getting hit by Reed, getting the advantage, and eventually getting hit with a tsunami for the win. Chad Gable demands an emergency Alpha Academy meeting. He gets Akira Tozawa, he gets Maxine Dupree from backstage, and he says that Otis is lacking discipline and that he's going to give it to him. Gable takes off his belt, attempts to hit Otis, but Maxine stops him and yells and gets yelled at for doing so. And he says, if you don't like it, go out of the ring and don't come back. Sami Zayn, though, comes out and he tells Otis to start standing up for himself. That he told him last week, you don't have to listen to Chad Gable, listen to the crowd. Crowd's behind Otis, but Chad Gable attacks Sami Zayn. Otis is conflicted as Gable continues to fight him, but Gable gets the better of the exchange. Otis leaves feeling a little sad, it looks like, and leaves with Gable. So, that pop when eventually Otis just does not listen to Gable, that's going to be massive. I think that's going to create a big star out of Otis where he can compete for that IC title and be in that level. Then we're already at the main event. Women's World Championship Steel Cage match. Liv Morgan defeats Becky Lynch. So this match felt rushed. They missed a big reveal on the camera as the show went off the air. Really weird that Raw has a hard out at 11, it seems like, but NXT has the overrun. So this match is going on. Dominic Mysterio comes out. He tries to open the door for Becky Lynch to escape. JD and Finn come out trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But with JD McDonough coming out, Braun Strowman comes out trying to chase him. Strowman comes out to try to get his hands on JD. This chaos leads into Braun Strowman hitting into Dominic Mysterio, who hits into the steel cage door that's wide open. Becky Lynch trying to get out, gets hit in the head with the steel cage door. And this eventually leads to Liv Morgan crawling out and winning the match. After the match, though, we see, or we don't see, on the American feed at least, Liv Morgan on the entrance ramp kisses Dominic Mysterio. She forces a kiss. Don't love the image of that, if we're being honest, because of the way how roles if reversed would be a little bit weird. But this ultimately builds up on the story. I think Becky Lynch goes away for a little bit. I think eventually she comes back. But her contract officially is over at the end of this week, it's being reported. I like this. I think this obviously builds more into the Judgment Day downfall that we've kind of been hinting at for a while. Don't know why it still hasn't gone on. It feels like every week we get closer and closer to it. And I kind of like it. I think Damian Priest doesn't need to be involved with it. If they want to keep it as JD McDonough, as Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley when she comes back, I think that's something they can do. But overall, thought it was a fun show. Thought the steel cage match could have been better, but the focus wasn't on the match. It was on the Judgment Day shenanigans. But that's all I have for you guys. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you have not already. Tell me how you guys thought of Monday Night Raw, and I will see you guys in the next one.